Capcom have just put out a new trailer for Monster Hunter World called Wildspire Wastes, and honestly, this has to be one of the coolest bits of promotional content that they have released for this game so far. I mean, the stuff shown in this trailer just blew me away. I mean, I had no idea what time I saw it. Must have been 10:30 in the morning, but I literally I couldn't believe what I'm seeing. I mean, seeing these new monsters and returning monsters is absolutely amazing. And on top of that, there are some things in there which I just really want to point out. So hopefully you can stick with me through this discussion, and I'll get to those. This isn't scripted, so my thoughts might be all over the place, but I'll try and stick to this list I've got down. So the first thing that we get to see, obviously, is the desert, and there's there's this shot of the hunter in the mud, like wading his way through the mud, and you get to see like these fish, and it kind of reminds you of the delicts. So I don't know if that's something which is going to be new, or if it's a returning monster which just has a new habitat or whatever. But it definitely looks like some sort of new minion sort of monster, and just a little nice detail. And then at this point I completely ignore the Barroth. I don't really pay attention to it. And the first thing that I notice after that is obviously the Apsaros return, and then we get to see Barroth, and now I finally see what's happening here. They're showing off the fact that there are returning monsters. Capcom did say that there were going to be some returning monsters and they were going to talk about them, but just I thought it was going to be flagships or special monsters which fans really loved. But seeing Barroth return just makes me think, oh my goodness, they're going to bring back a lot more. I don't know how many of you know this, but this game is set in the new world. So in Monster Hunter, we have been playing mostly in the old world, and now this game's taken us to the new world. And we've actually been to the new world before, so the deserted island from Monster Hunter 3 and the volcano were actually part of the new world continent. So seeing monsters from Monster Hunter Tri return is actually not too surprising. So it does make me wonder how much more of those we will see. So the next thing we get to see is the Levazioth, and at first I'm like, why is Levazioth in mud? But I think what has happened is I've been playing way too much Monster Hunter Generations, and I thought subspecies were a thing. So this is obviously some sort of desert subspecies Levazioth, or some sort of swamp version which dives around in the mud, and its head really does remind me of the tiger striped Zampiros. So how in biology there's all that convergent evolution, and seeing as this game is more about paying attention to the ecosystem, I wonder if that's a little detail which they purposely left in. So I thought that was really interesting. Then we get to see the new raptor of this generation. Now, I originally said that I thought the Anjanath was going to replace the Jaggies or whatever. So it definitely seems that we are getting a new raptor, and I loved how it picks up a rock to block the hunter's attack. And again, that ties into the whole thing about that living, breathing ecosystem that Capcom really wanted to pull off. And I think, when they're paying attention to that much detail, it makes you wonder, imagine if Rajang was in this game, would it pick up rocks and then use that to block itself? And I'm pretty sure it would just throw them at you. Anyway, so moving on, we get to see this new Chameleon monster, and it's safe to say Chameleos is finally not alone. Now, I really wanted something like this actually, and seeing the way it spits its tongue out, it's got wings, it's like a more Wyvern version of the Chameleos, but it's probably going to be unique, and I can't wait to see more of this. Once again, these monsters, I mean, there is no way at this point that you can say to yourself, this game looks generic, this game looks westernized, because no. I take back anything that I said in the beginning when I first saw the trailer at E3. This game is a Monster Hunter game in every way possible. These monsters are uniquely designed, they all have charm, they all have something about them which sings and, just represents Monster Hunter in the best ways possible. I mean, they have those details about them which no other game would be able to pull off. So next we get to see this amazing shot, this very cinematic shot of these Wyverns. Now they do look like the Wyverns which supposedly carry you in when a hunter fires, when you join someone else's room and join into a quest. So they do look like those Wyverns. But you see them flying around, and the hunter's in the center of maybe this sort of pit in the desert, and they're making like these screeching sounds. And obviously, we all know that Diablos is always going to get triggered by those sounds and pop up from under the ground, so I think that's what's happening here. They're making these sounds and they're summoning the Diablos, and it definitely looks like some sort of cutscene, perhaps the Diablos cutscene. But it's great to know that the Diablos is back, and if subspecies are back, then I think possibly the Black Diablos is back. I have no idea. But I guess time will tell. But it's great that that's back. I love the Diablos, it's one of my favorite monsters. And then the trailer sort of ends off on this montage of all the different weapons and what they can do. And I think there definitely seem to be some new things in there. Especially the longsword seemed to have this attack, which sort of reminded me of the Sakura Slash from Monster Hunter Generations. But it's really hard to say if that's what it was. The Insect Glaive definitely seemed to have this aerial attack where it just does a flurry of attacks, and you know, these things really do remind me of Hunter Arts. And again, I didn't really get a chance to talk about the weapon trailers which came out whilst I was on vacation. But they definitely seem to be incorporating a lot of the Hunter Art animations and Hunter style animations from the Cross series into this game. And that's really cool because it kind of shows that they were really testing the grounds, testing the waters with Monster Hunter Cross and Double Cross. And they took everything which was good from those games and they put it into this game. And, you know, I think that's something which is really cool. Because that means that a lot of features such as transmog from Monster Double Cross could actually return in this game. And, you know, these are things that fans have wanted. I think, for me, I wanted Double Cross because I wanted transmog. And now seeing that, you know, elements from the Cross games are, you know, appearing in Monster Hunter World, I'm really excited to see what they pull off and what they bring back. So, that's great. And then finally, as with Monster Hunter fashion, they end the trailer with some sort of new, I don't want to call it an Elder Dragon because it might not be one, but I think it's safe to say that it is. It's, you know, this behemoth, this huge, colossal Elder Dragon-esque thing, and it looks, you know, jaw-dropping. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of large monster fights. Personally, I find them slow and they're very, they're not fast-paced for me. But I do really appreciate the scale of these monsters. Like, the Dalamadeur was one of the reasons why I looked so forward to playing Monster Hunter 4. And for Ultimate. And again, you know, things like the Daimoralis and the Gogmazios, these monsters, just being able to, you know, appreciate the scale of these things and how Capcom pulls it off, it just gets me every time. I mean, they may not be the most fun fights, I do admit that the Gogmazios is a pretty fun fight, but generally they're not the most fun fights, but these monsters, they're amazing, and I can't wait to see, you know, how this monster ties into the story or the lore of this video game. Now, I did make a video a while back talking about the lore of this game, and you know, obviously nothing in this trailer really connects to that video, so hopefully there are more Elder Dragons to be showcased. That is, unless I'm completely wrong. But seeing this giant monster appearing is just awesome, and you know, I think my expectations of this game have skyrocketed. You know, it definitely doesn't look like, it definitely doesn't look like some sort of westernized Monster Hunter which has been, you know, sort of changed up for the West. No, this is a Monster Hunter game. 2018 cannot come soon enough. And, you know, yeah, that really just wraps up everything I wanted to talk about. So, if you enjoyed this discussion and, you know, anything I said, or if there was anything I missed out and you want me to cover it in a video, then please let me know down in the comments soon. So thanks for watching and listening, and I'll see you next time.